Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's a game that I've been wanting to play on the channel for a while now, but only just came up with the idea to make a challenge run out of it. And while I know this is a no plugin chips run, this wasn't the first challenge run idea I came up with at first for this game, but as much as I would like to share what I have in mind, I'm going to keep it to myself until the video itself gets released. Mainly because I don't want anyone to take my idea, yes I'm that paranoid, and because I wanted to start NieR off easy because I have no idea what to expect out of these runs, and before even starting the recording for this video I was very certain this run was possible to begin with. So this will be the first of a series of challenge videos based on NieR Automata. Now let's get into the rules. So rule number 1, no plugin chips at all, except for the OS chip for hopefully obvious reasons. And number 2, no glitches or exploits. And that's it for the rules. Fairly simple, but before I start talking about the playthrough itself, I'm going to mention now that in the very beginning of the game, it has you start in a flight unit, and whenever you are in a flight unit, you may pause the game, but it won't bring up the menu screen you need to remove anything. So I did this part like normal, but made sure to heal manually only, because the game has you start with the basic HUD chips and a support chip, but the support chip being an auto-use item. So knowing that, that's why I opted to manually heal before my HP got low enough for the chip to activate itself, deeming my run a failure. As soon as the flight unit section was over, I immediately removed all my plugin chips, except for the OS chip, again, duh, and let the run begin for real now. Starting off with Route A. Right off the bat, I can already tell this entire run and video is just going to be NieR Automata Become Cinematic Edition. At first it was strange getting adjusted to not being able to see anything like my health, damage values, or even the minimap, but after a short while I got used to it, and the entire playthrough I got into the habit of always having healable items and subconsciously using them whenever I take the smallest amount of damage. The giant buzzsaw boss was easy, but that's to be expected because the only chip I had on before the removal of all of them was all the HUD chips and an auto-use item, so far it's pretty much a normal playthrough until it wasn't. Before I didn't realize till halfway through the playthrough that I could pull up a sub menu that showed my health and other attributes that I'd normally see if I had all my chips on. So for the first half of the playthrough I repeatedly paused the game just so I could see how much health I had left or how much XP I was getting from certain classes of enemies. I made it through the factory as normal and made it to the NGL boss fight, which I also got through just like normal. The whole beginning area, which basically serves as a tutorial, was really easy just because my level was on par with all the enemies. The only real problem that continued to annoy me throughout the entire playthrough was the fact I could never see what level or how much health an enemy could have. Once I was in the bunker, I complimented Best Boy 9S, bought a few small recoveries, and sold every plugin chip I had in my inventory. Once I was in the City of Ruins, I activated all the nearby access points, collected my weapon and items from my dead body, fought and beat this level 25 machine, which gives you about 400 XP each time you defeat it. I memorized this machine from previous playthroughs, so if you're wondering why I know it's level 25, that's why. Another thing that would be incredibly helpful in case I was in a pinch was if I was connected to the network, I would get access to other dead android bodies lying around, which would restore my health and give me random but temporary boosts like a plugin chip would, but only if I retrieved the body and not repaired it. Once I got all my little tasks out of the way, I finally made it to the resistance camp and got all the side quests out of the way so I could stock up on more healables and level up my weapons since I wouldn't be able to level up myself, with the plugin chips I mean. So for this run, it's just going to be baseline damage, baseline health, and baseline defense, etc, etc. I also bought the best pod program in the game, the Blade, and before starting any of the main quests, I went back to the bunker because of a side quest you receive from 16D, which upon completion gives you the Yorha issue blade. The reason I opted to get this first before starting the main quest is because if you level that weapon up to level 2, it gives you a permanent discount on items at the resistance shops, which will be helpful since I will be repeatedly selling out on healing items. Once I got my hands on that sword, I continued on with the main story, and on my way to the desert, I made a pit stop to perform an act of animal cruelty and kill this level 25 machine again. Once I made it to the desert, I started killing these multiple body machines for some stretch coils so I can upgrade the sword I just acquired. When I got to the desert center, my main focus was to find the stranded pod lying around in the sand. With my new pod acquired, I can now set my laser program on the missile pod and my blade program on the Gatling pod. After some time, I finally made it to my destination only to find some robo intercourse. Children, divert your eyes! I will take care of this disgusting display of affection! After a fight with our new friend, Mr. Looks Like an Android but not actually an android, and why he's not wearing any clothes, and oh, and now he's giving birth to his brother even though we just killed him? I made it out of the desert and killed this level 25 machine again, report back to command, grind out these last few stretched coils I needed to upgrade my weapon, and dare I even say that I killed the level 25 machine again? Because I did. And when I made it to the amusement park, I forgot I set 9S's combat behavior to aggressive, so he started firing his pod immediately on sight. The fight with the opera singer machine, or Simone, or Simon, however the hell you pronounce it, sorry NieR community, you're probably gonna have my head for saying that wrong. It went quick, but I unfortunately missed out on a machine core because of the cutscene. I met Pascal, sped through all of his dialogue and opened up the shortcut to his village, and returned back to the resistance camp. I finally got all the coils I needed to upgrade my sword and then decided to showcase what happens if I remove my OS chip. I load the game back up, and before making it to the camp, I decided to visit the annoying monk machine, Father Servo. He was a cakewalk, but of course he demanded funds for his lessons. Another main priority of mine during this run was only to use small swords or just any weapon that had some sort of healing ability because I wanted to prioritize speed over power. And hey, I'll take a free heal when I can get it. Now that I finally have the discount, I made sure to stock up on small and medium recoveries. Also animal bait, even though I only rode an animal once during this playthrough. Next thing I know, I'm fighting an Angeal in the City of Ruins and with mainly my pod because it was out of my reach. While Angeal 1 took a little while to defeat, Angeal 2 was no problem at all thanks to the flight unit. I killed this level 25 machine again and went to the flooded city so I could fish for my last pod.
Purpose unknown.
I work on some side quests for a little bit, but make my way to the shopping mall to continue the main story. Also, Best Boy 9S got to meet the OG Best Boy Emil, but with not so nice intentions.
This thing's weird, 2B. Let's kill it.
Once I made it to the forest, I unlocked the center access point and performed 2 more acts of animal cruelty. Oh, what a cute little machine. Here's the king of this forest. You are. Some minor infant murder aside, I beat A2 and make my way back to the flooded city so I can try out the Coliseum to see if I can't unlock some goodies, which I did and got some hair dye. I continue on with the main story and get ready to fight the colossal sized machine. The fight was a breeze, and I'm just gonna add that I really like this boss fight. I just wish it wasn't just a flight unit fight. Like, imagine if you take down its electromagnetic barrier, you can go inside its body and fight it from the inside out. Just an idea. Either way, I get back to the resistance camp and get the scanner pod program to help find Nines. I find the general location of his black box signal and make it to the copied city and fight Adam for the last and final time, at least in Route A. He talked my ear off and I finally noticed I can pull up the sub menu to check up on my HP and found out that there's temporary performance enhancing items that I can use, which was incredibly helpful for the entirety of the run after this point. Once I killed Adam, I saved Best Boy 9S and moved on with the rest of the game. I bought my favorite sword in the entire game, the Type 3 sword, and sold out on small skill salves to help with my pod program cooldown. I immediately upgraded the Type 3 sword to level 3 and swapped it with my Yorha issue blade. I met up with Pascal, and yes, I blew up 2B's skirt, and I'll own up to that, and I dyed her hair brown. Anyway, minor distraction aside, Pascal and I met up with his Grace, fought off all the twisted religious machines, and I picked up my other favorite sword, the engine blade from Final Fantasy 15, then got ready to fight Giant Ball Machine number 1. Hey Reese, in case you're watching this, I killed this boss in 50 seconds, which is a fraction of the time it took you to take it out. Outside the camp waiting for me was a Giant Ball Machine number 2. I defeated it, and the Nines made a dramatic entrance into the fight. After receiving a rather concerning distress call from Pascal.
2B? 2B, can you hear me? Our village is under...
I ran over to his village and fought a giant worm of small machines. Finally up next is Eve.
And here you are.
While being one of my favorite boss fights, it was also very easy. I just applied continuous pressure on him until 9S was able to cut him off from the network. 9S and Eve had their own Dragon Ball-esque moments. 2B killed Eve, and that was Route A in the books. For Route B, since it's just Route A with some minor differences, I'm going to try to keep this one relatively short and just mention the real noteworthy moments. To start off, I hacked the factory defenses, then helped 2B finish off the Angeal Goliath. After helping the weapons trader again in the resistance camp, I was able to upgrade the engine blade to level 3. I went on a bit of a hacking spree so I can control as many machines as possible for when I would inevitably go to the Coliseum in the forest as 9S. Back in the desert for the Atom fight, I mainly hacked into him to do easy and a lot of damage. Once back in the City of Ruins, I decided to take on these gold machines and just hacked into them for, again, easy and a lot of damage, especially since all the gold machine fights give you a lot of XP, so I would be dumb not to do them. The commander gave me and 2B orders to go check out some android disappearances at the amusement park. Ooh, machine core. 2B help me, 2B, help! Flippy flips aside, Simone was easier this time around because of the hacking and how OP it actually is. Also, I skipped through all of her text dialogues, I really don't care. I met Pascal, again. And once I exhausted his dialogue, I went to the scientist machine and paid him 180,000 G so I can get some more items from him and be able to buy meteorite shards whenever I needed them. I performed yet another act of animal cruelty, take down the Angeals in the City of Ruins and fight Father Servo again. I accepted the side quest Family Squabble, and I usually do this specific quest on Route A as 2B and don't even have any issues, but this time around it was a bit rough. At this point in the game, all the enemy machines are around level 25 to 40, but the child machine remains at level 10 no matter what route you're on, so he takes far more damage than usual depending on what route it is. Well, I struggled through it and I thought I was good until I got to the shortcut at Pascal's village and a medium biped machine decided to shoot his laser and kill the child. Once I heard 2B say the line that she says when he failed, I took a pause because I made it so far only to fail. That was my first time ever failing this quest. Anyway, I went on a little too long about that, so let's move on. I got to the Forest Kingdom and went to the Coliseum there so I can unlock some more items and an outfit for 9S, even though I didn't wear it for too long. I upgraded my engine blade to its max level and fought A2 again, and I started the data analysis freak quest and finished the first part of it. But before moving on with the main story, I decided to fight the rest of the gold machines for the XP and mainly hacking them because of the massive amount of damage as compared to normally fighting them. After killing those machines, I head back to the area where you first fight Adam and grind for a little bit just for some extra levels. I give Father Servo the items he requested from the last fight, then fight him again. I also got a little too curious what would happen if I hacked him while he's just idly standing, and it didn't go well. Sorry, Father. I completed the Yorha Betrayers quest and got the Type 40 Lance, then continued on with the Data Analysis Freak quest, and after completion I found out more about Operator 210 and got the Type 40 Blade as well, which also looks really cool and this is my first time ever getting it. Back to the main game, I get to the flooded city and kill the colossal sized machine again. After a hacking segment and 2B rescuing 9S, I'm at the point in the game where you have to help 2B by hacking into machines in the factory and help her secure an escape route. I shut down the factory's main power and 2B killed the giant ball machine number 1 again. Once that was over, the commander spilled the beans about humanity actually being extinct. 9S meets back up with 2B and the rest of Route B is just how Route A played out, but the only slight difference is you get to hack into a very sad and mourning Eve.
My brother was everything to me. My life was contained in our moments.
9S and Eve had their Dragon Ball-esque moment again, and I beat him again, but not before dying myself, and the game not knowing what to do, so it was a white screen for a while, but thankfully I figured it out. I quickly beat Adam again, and now that's Route B in the books. Alright, so I'm already gonna have chapters in the video anyway, but I'm separating Route C into multiple parts because it's a bit more fanatic as compared... Did I say... I put fanatic, but I meant to put frantic. I'm just going to leave this part in the video, but either way, there's going to be chapters because it is in fact frantic. It's Route C and NieR. If you know what that means, well, you know what I mean. Either way, the prologue of Route C has you playing as a mix of 2B and 9S. I started out as 9S and was going on a hacking spree, which then swapped me to 2B and was tasked to help out other android units. Everything was going fine until it wasn't. The machines hit 2B and all the other androids with a widespread attack, which corrupted all the other androids. 9S and 2B activate their black boxes to get back to the bunker, only to find out the virus infiltrated the bunker as well. After a quick flight unit fight, which you are bound to fail, 2B got infected with the virus and I just ran as fast as I possibly could to my destination at the shopping mall. It was a dead end because I got ambushed by some other corrupted androids, but A2 of all androids came to my rescue. Well, now I'm back as 9. Well, that's unfortunate. After a little nap, Pod 042 woke up A2.
Good morning, A2.
Then proceeded to annoy her repeatedly.
30 seconds have passed. Proposal. Unit A2 should state her intentions.
Stop!
I did a little more grinding in the desert boss fight arena again, then finally went to the main quest, which was to kill a giant Goliath class enemy. I used A2's Berserker ability, which was a little scary because I actually could have died very easily since this ability brings you down to 1 HP, but I just evened it out by spamming all the healables. After taking out the Goliath, A2 took another nap.
Good morning, A2.
I went to the resistance camp and talked to an enemy and met Pascal. I repaired A2's fuel filter, then grinded a bit more, worked on some of the Coliseum challenges, and upgraded to my fist weapons. Once I was done with that, Pascal called me about his village being under attack and I went to help out. I took out most of the machines, but one of them caught me lacking and laid me out, so I got a game over and got set back by like half an hour. After that game over, I called it quits for the night and just continued on the next day. I met up with Pascal in the factory and we got ambushed by some enemy machines. I took out all the small machines and one tank Goliath, then Pascal took care of the rest in Angel. After a quick match of Rock'em Sock'em robots, we made it back to the factory only to find all the children killed themselves. By Pascal's request, I deleted his memories because he couldn't live with the heartbreak inside him. Now we're back with 9S, his main focus being to get into the newly spawned tower and kill A2. But we have to get to these floating structures first because we need the keys to get inside the tower. Before doing any of those tasks first, I head back to the flooded city Coliseum because as 9S, I'll have a much easier time taking out the higher ranking machines. Once I was done with that, I went to the Forest Kingdom to get ready for the meat box. But right before that, I noticed these two Goliath bipeds and decided to grind here for a little bit because they give you 1000 XP each. So I grinded them out for about an hour and had to repeatedly go back and forth between access points at the Resistance Camp and the Forest Kingdom. I finally made my way to the structure, so the entirety of the meat box structure is just multiple levels of machine fights, and once at the top of the tower, 9S obliterated the core of this thing. Next we're on to the soul box, which is just multiple levels of hacking mini games. I also picked up another favorite weapon of mine, the small sword Faith. Once at the top of the tower, a virus started deleting 9S's memories of 2B, or at least that's what I think is happening here. 9S plummets more into insanity and desperately needs repairs, so I went back to the Resistance Camp to talk to Devila. I used the transport to go to the amusement park so I could head to the last structure, which is weirdly named the God Box. The game switches me back over to A2, and before heading over to the amusement park, I went further into the factory to pick up a stranded pod program. Also, yeah, I never realized that if you hear a high-pitched beeping in the game in certain places, that means there's a stranded pod program to go pick up. I used the transport to get A2 over to the amusement park, and the game switches me back over to 9S, and I go through and beat all the floors in God Box. Once at the top of the tower, the game has you face off against Operator 210, who went under Type B equipment transition, so now she has all the same combat capabilities as 2B. I went a little slow with this fight because I know there's dialogue exchange between the two androids, and after defeating the operator, A2 took it upon herself to kill her. The floor collapses underneath 9S, and as A2 I defeat this pathetic excuse of a fight. I did the side quest Popola's request, and it gave me the last material I needed to upgrade the Faith. Upgrade the Faith, goddammit. Once I got that finished, I headed over to the entrance of the tower and deactivated its subunits. When starting to hack the actual tower door itself, enemy machines started dropping in by the dozens and it wouldn't allow me to hack the tower. Devila and Popola came to my aid, and Popola willingly sacrificed herself so that 9S can get inside the tower and to atone for hers and Devila's sins, apparently. Once inside the tower, there were a lot of corrupted androids in there that I faced off against. After listening to the annoying machine voice, I took a pause and enjoyed the beauty of the tower's theme. I faced off against a boatload of 2B model androids, and it's amazing 9S even survived this since he is a scanner model after all. One of the 2B models blew up, and then the game switched me back over to A2. I make it inside the tower as A2 and give Pod 042 his pets because he is the best pod. I gathered some information from this totally normal library that totally doesn't resemble another library from another game, then got ambushed by Giant Ball Machine number 3. The game switches me back over to quit saying units, fuck! The game switches me back over to 9S, and I take out all these machines. We learn about the Yorha disposal program, and 9S gets even more upset. I headed outside and had to fight 6 flight units, and yet again somehow 9S managed to survive an onslaught like that when 2B couldn't even handle 4 herself when she had her own flight unit. We took one of the flight units and now we're back as A2. When trying to activate the elevator, I'm brought into this hacking realm, I'll call it, and I'm told the only way to defeat the machine here is to let it continuously evolve and let it think itself to death. Creepy little machine girl aside, I let them fight themselves and I finished off the last few. Finally the elevator started, and hey, wouldn't you know, Giant Ball Machine number 3 is back. The game repeatedly switches me back and forth between unit. God damn it! I said unit again! The game repeatedly switches me back and forth between A2 and 9S during this section, and as 9S, you have to fight Giant Ball Machine number 4. Both androids finally make it to the top of the tower, and so do the balls. Now everyone, I'd like you to meet Pair of Balls Machine. After a very cool boss fight, and with the continued mechanic of swapping between the two characters unknowingly, it was finally time to finish off the rest of this game. Gut punching cutscene and very good voice acting aside, I'd like to bring you all the 9S Yelling Shut Up compilation.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up! Shut up!
Alert. Excessive combat activity will put unacceptable strain on your body.
Shut up!
Your existence is meaningless.
Shut up!
9S. We...
Shut up!
But you knew that. Right, 9S?
Shut up! Shut up!
Our core programming demands that we.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
To start, I chose 9S, who I was going to play as first. Listen to more gut-punching voice acting.
It doesn't matter! None of this matters!
Killed A2 and myself by accident. Whoops. I skipped through the dialogue here, got ending D, and booted the game back up so I can get the last two endings. I chose A2, cut the implanted 2B arm off of 9S to help remove the virus inside him, and for no good reason at all, I spammed all of my volt-proof salves, and while inside 9S's mind, this platform caught my attention, so I decided to jump over to it. I was able to land on this one, but I tried to go further, but I got sent back to the beginning of this area. I made it back to where 9S's logic circuits were, and had Pod 042 help me get 9S to safety. A2 stays behind as the tower is collapsing, and I got ending C. Now it was finally time to get ending E. I repeatedly killed myself in the credits area so I can hurry and get the assistance I needed to finish the game. I left a message for the other players and decided for the first time ever I would delete my save data to help others in need. The run is now complete. I can officially say that beating NieR Automata with no plug-in chips is possible. You know what? I feel good. The run is over. My save file is going away to help others, and hey, wait, no!